Good morning, good day, good afternoon, no matter where you are on this beautiful planet. I am sending my big, huge hug and virtual love to you, or my love in a virtual hug to you. That's what I meant. I'm just popping on here to tell you a couple of funny stories, one in particular that happened this morning. It's very early here. Well, it's 9 o'clock on Sunday morning. And at about 5, good morning. At about 5 this morning, I woke up 5:30 and I'm like, I know it's too early to go to bed. And all last night in the middle of the night, I think people were cooking really, I live in an apartment, so people were cooking the weirdest, smelliest fucking shit last night in the apartment. It was like annoying. And so even in the middle of the night, and I think I made the mistake of telling my neighbor, yeah, I don't really smell it when you smoke weed. Well, his window is right next to mine, and I think he hung out his window and just like blew it all. It all came into my apartment last night. So it was really funny because I really like that neighbor. So I can't get mad because I do the same thing. So I'm like, whatever. Just had a weird sleep, had more dreams about Obama, and that was pretty funny. And so this morning at 5 o'clock, I get up, and yesterday I wasn't feeling too shit hot. I did a lot of 3D stuff. Like I was supposed to video. So Lowell and the kids, I hope the kids aren't watching this one, but I'll be recording the sapling later on today. So yeah, I just felt out of sorts yesterday. So yeah, I know, Simon, what's going on. I've been through my feed on Telegram. I've been through everybody else's feed. I've been watching videos. I listened to Sidney Powell this morning um, talk about what happened with over Christmas time and POTUS, and how she delivered him a gift of the Italian people coming forward and saying what they did. And so there are people who are flipping right now. So we have to be patient in this situation. So, um, yeah. Oh, good. Carolyn, good. You just got on. Yeah, Telegram. So, um, yeah, and I saw the Italian judge. I posted that. I saved the videos. Please save videos from Telegram to on your phone. Save as much information as you can right now because it will matter. It will matter. So this morning I go and I roll 2 joints. And normally I don't smoke joints in the morning. I only have like my little one hitter like this, and I put weed at the end. People don't know what this is, and I just do and blow it out my window so it doesn't stink up my apartment. But this morning I'm like, I feel a big day coming on. So I go and I roll 2 joints. And when I was cleaning out my cupboard yesterday, I found one of these cone filters that I bought, pre-rolled cone filter without the weed in it. So I was like, right on. They haven't had these at the store for a while. I ran out of them. So I go and I roll 2 fats, and I put one in my pocket. I got my pants on, like my my regular clothes, but I put my house coat over top of that, and then I put my big puffy jacket that Holly gave me over top, not the blue one, the black one. And I've got my hood up like this, and I'm outside like by the bus stop. There's a bus stop right in front, and it's well lit. Okay, so right when you come out of my apartment to the left is a bus stop, and there's probably, I don't know, about 4 feet of space where you can sit on a little abutment, like that's right about your butt high, like a bench. It's concrete, and it goes onto the grass of the neighboring property. So I'm kind of leaning up against there, and it's a little windy, and like it's 6 o'clock in the morning. Okay. I'm out there smoking my joint. I'm like, I don't give a shit. And I see this guy come walking by, and he's like he's going to work, and I'm like, oh man, I felt bad for him because it looked like he was going somewhere important, and he might not have wanted to go there. So and he's got his hood pulled over like this, so I really only see this about this much of him, like, when he's walking by, because he's got a toque on, and he's got his hoodie pulled up, and he's got another jacket. So I said, morning. And he's like, that smells good. And I'm like, oh, you want some? He's like, sure. So he turned around and I'm like, holy, he's actually a really good looking guy. I said, where are you off to, work? And he's like, no, I'm going to an AA meeting. And I'm like, sweet. I said, this early in the morning? He goes, yeah, they're all over the city. And I'm like, that's fucking awesome. And I said, good for you, dude. And so we got to chatting, and people are like, oh, he's smoking weed. Do you know how many people I know that have gone to NA and AA and used cannabis to help them get through the worst parts of their life? So I don't judge anybody on the use of cannabis ever, because we have, I can never say it right, cannabinoid receptors in our body, and it's made to work with us. So that's why I make all these connections, I think. Anyways, so we start talking, and he tells me a bit about his life and stuff, and I'm like, I am really, you know what? I said, that's really amazing. Like, he talked about what happened. Like, he in August was in rehab, he's out on the streets, and, talked about how he flipped his life around. I'm like, that's really amazing. That's really, like, honestly, in this day and age, dude, that is attractive to the human race. Right there. I said, that is really attractive. And I said, if you don't mind me saying so, you're a very attractive man. And he kind of blushed and he's like, well, thanks. Like, he didn't know what to say. But it was really nice. He was a very kind person, but you could tell he had that energy that I wouldn't tell the guy to put on a mask or anything if I was on the C train, but apparently some lady did, and he's because he didn't wasn't wearing one at the time. Um, it, he had it in his pocket, but he has asthma, and I guess it was coming up. So he coughed a little bit into here, and she's like, I would really appreciate it if you put on a mask. He goes, I really appreciate if you mind your own fucking business. I don't give two fucks what you think. So I was just laughing. I thought it was great. So we shared a smoke, and I asked him, I kind of red pilled him. He goes, are you one of these conspiracy people? And I'm like, what? I wouldn't call myself that. And then when a lady came out right around that time, I was talking about Real Raven Radio. She goes, oh, you do a radio show? And she's from in my building. And I said, yeah. I said, it's something I started last week. And I said, I'm kind of, she goes, well, what do you talk about on there? And I'm like, the truth that you don't hear on TV. And she's like, oh, really? And I'm like, yeah, you have no idea. So when I brought up the missing children, she was like, I had no idea. But the guy, he was like, oh, yeah, it's like lots of street people know about that and da 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 da. And he knew about all the missing kids and how bad it was. So I filled him in on a little few stories. I said, so right now in the next few weeks, what we're seeing is the good guys stepping up and squashing the bad guys. And this has taken a very, very, very long time. So be patient, but you're going to hear about the most hideous things on the planet, and you're going to have to get through that in acceptance. I said, the big thing that you have to understand or understand is that they don't have, like, they're all just sociopaths. Like, the people that do these bad things are not human people. And so I don't know, it was just a really cool morning. Like, this all happened before 7:15 on a Sunday morning out in my street. Oh, I didn't bring any coffee. Oh, dang. So I think we're gonna see a really yeah, no, men aren't used to compliments as a rule. I give a lot of compliments out. I mean, I saw my old friend's ex-boyfriend at a rally, and him and I used to talk all the time. Like, we were really, we'd sit there and smoke and hang out and stuff when I'd hang out at their place or whatever. And I saw him again, but it'd been like 10 or 15 years. Like, I hadn't seen him, maybe 10 years, maybe almost 15. Anyways, I was just like, you're a really good looking guy. And he just kind of like was like all embarrassed and stuff. I'm like, I'm not hitting on you. I just, like, I tell people that. Or if they have nice eyes or nice smile. And some people, men do not know how to accept it. When went around telling people they had a nice beard, men, they had a nice beard, they didn't really know how to handle that either. So yeah. How would I get on my radio? Been out of the loop. Oh, What do you mean? How do you get on my radio? I'm only doing interviews in my living room right now, Dana. But my radio is on Raven Moonstone Art. I have it called Real Raven Radio, like on this channel, and it's episode 1, 2, 3, and 4. I only have four episodes right now, and I record those on Monday through Friday at 11 o'clock in my studio apartment. All fancy. So I'm gonna have more frequent guests on and giving points of view, other people's points of view. That's why I started it. A, to keep people's positivity up, B, to give a little bit of information, and C, to have fun throughout this shit show we're riding through. Woo! So that's what it's from. Okay, your telegram is coupon. Okay, Carolyn. Yeah, so I'm good morning, everybody. Yeah, I'm seriously so excited about everything that's going on. I know why I keep having these dreams about Obama, okay? Because in that investigation in Italy, that's who they brought out under there. That's who Italy is thrown under the bus first. Leonardo machines and all of that has been exposed. So that's all going. So yes, I haven't had a chance to watch anything from Simon Parks, but I'll mention that to everybody. Yeah, how will this even be revealed? Okay, so here's what I think is happening personally. Quebec, if people don't know about how corrupt that province is, all right, Montreal is one of the biggest hubs in Canada, besides Calgary and Victoria and all of that, for Winnipeg. So, how it works is kind of like the Maritimes are all quiet. That's on the East Coast, but there's things that happen there that a lot of people don't realize. And then you move into like the Toronto area, and Toronto and Ottawa and Montreal. Ottawa and Montreal are only a couple hours away drive, and they are very much on the border of the United States. So if you don't get that whole what's like around the Great Lakes, under the Great Lakes, around Montreal, up through Winnipeg. Winnipeg is also a very bad place of like on the ground hub. Everybody knows that. Like wherever HA vroom, vroom, go through and kind of monopolize. If you guys haven't watched the series on Netflix called Bad Blood, I have not, but I know what it's about. My ex watched it, and it's all about the Montreal and Quebec MAFIA and the infiltration. So if they're showing you that at that level in Quebec, it's so bad. So and Ontario is headed that same way. This is where a lot of our leaders live, is in Montreal, Ottawa area. So you don't hear much about things happening in Nova Scotia, except for what happened. Yes, Winnipeg is. I moved out of there a few months ago, Shawnee. Yeah, I've been to Winnipeg many, many times. I used to live a few hours outside of Winnipeg, and I had to drive in there all the time for union conferences. I was a vice president of our union board. And but I loved the president, and the president and I would go driving for 3 hours there and 3 hours back. It was like an awesome experience. But however, Winnipeg itself, sketchy, really sketchy. So, and they don't treat Indigenous people there very well at all. So hardcore, so hardcore. So if you go through these cities, and Prince Albert and Saskatchewan and Saskatoon and Regina, all of these cities have places that are very, very not good, very corrupt. So that's what we're starting to see. So in Toronto, as you know, where the office that was shared by Schmoros, the Dominion office, um, that I believe is one of the reasons why Ontario is on a strict lockdown, because they're draining the swamp in there. So I would recommend to everybody, just keep doing your stockpiling and staying at home as much and conserving your energy, not because of fearful things, but if you're not one to put yourself in like a situation to get yourself sometimes up to $8,000 ticket in Quebec, I do believe a lot of what's going on is to take down shitheads there. So I really think that's what it is. Yes, and I know big tech is trying to take down all of this crap. So don't do your auto updates on any of your phones, and just be cautious with your bank accounts and stuff. I know a lot of people have had problems, and that's why I'm not paying for anything online right now. And whoever sent me email transfer from the United States, I cannot accept email transfers. Thank you. I'm very, very grateful. But until some of this tech issues get sorted, I don't know. I can't accept foreign currency right now. So I apologize for that. But thank you. I'm really, really grateful for the effort. But yeah, whatever. Go buy a battery operated radio, pretty much. I do have a battery operated radio. Actually, come to think of it, I had it all prepared from my when I went singing with the Heal the World choir. So yes, turn off your automatic update. Please look at John Bannon 1946 on Twitter. Okay. I don't have Twitter. They banned my Twitter. So for me to go on Twitter, I have to go on my laptop or something, but I'll go look it up. And the news, no. So this is part of what's going on, is that these companies, you didn't watch charts on Thursday, Real Raven radio show. I went over them, and why these vanguard agencies is very important to the pieces of this puzzle. And the ownership of even Black and Rock stuck together, those are very, that relationship's important. So we need to know why all of these companies are being shut down, is because they're foreign entities, or they're entities in the United States, but they're both accountable of doing the exact same thing. TREASON. Okay. So I think what they're going to do is, say Australia's in a blackout right now. Last night they went into, in Perth anyways, I don't know about the rest, Pakistan, the Vatican, and where was the other one where they had a blackout. And so they're preparing at the Capitol. They've got generators. They've got the military there. This is something that has been planned for a very, very, very long time. So please trust in your plan of remaining centered. And because a lot of information that's coming up on that HB laptop, as I said a few months ago, is going to be so horrific that the thought of how we're all going to process that is going to be something out of this world. Oh, Rome and Berlin. Thank you. So hello, Triggered Happy. I love you. Hi, gorgeous. So yeah, today will be important since they're trying to do all of this stuff for to shut down. So I just posted on my Telegram that song, the lights, the night the lights went out in Georgia. I'm like, I wonder if that's going to be legit. But Pennsylvania has a lot to do with it, because this is where I did some research today on these agencies, or Vanguard. So just bear with me for a second, and a little bit more. And going through my screenshots. So Jack Bogle was the founder of Vanguard, and he died last or January 16th of 2019. But did he? Okay. Um, his personal fortune was valued at relatively a modest 80 million. So he wrote 13 books on investing. 13. Now I have 77 and 17 thumbs up. I love that. So who owns BlackRock? Larry Fink, 61, tall, outgoing, and passionate about his business. This is just from Wikipedia. I always do these from Wikipedia because it makes me laugh even harder. So they have 44.3 trillion force. Um, then it goes into who the owners and stake was bought out by Merrill Lynch. So they're all like one on top of the other. Does China own Blackstone? China Investment? No, this is Blackstone. So China sold its stake Blackstone to the American Private Equity in 2018. What is shadow banking? Yes, here's another one that we need to. No, we know that nobody's going to get the VAX in this group. We're not even in that timeline. So the people that have, okay, some of those VAX6 stories I think are false flags, but it's telling people to wake the F up. All right. So, and some of it's legit. So people who are trying to do that, yeah, you don't need to take any VAX to get it, Rachel. No offense, but I've had 3 kids without, and I have lupus, and I didn't get any of that crap. So don't, especially if you live in the States. So, shadow banking system is a term for a collection of non-bank financial intermediaries that provide similar to traditional banks, but outside normal banking regulations. So this is what these people are all involved in. And it says here the definition was first put forward by PIMCO, Pacific Investment Management Company. So it's like just a bunch of where they've taken our money and held it like mafia and run it through all these tech companies and and all of that stuff. So Rachel, tell them that you're allergic and there's ways to get out of taking the VAXX, because I know I used to work for the hospital and I've never, ever, ever took a flu shot or any of that crap, ever. I was like, nope. So, yes, it's not in our timeline, and keep like I'm it's because they're going so fast. Sorry, Tigs, one sec. See, I can't even scroll up. Here we go. So I do have a worry the people that have had the backs will be altered, not to mention. So don't forget what we're going through right now. I guess the best way to explain it, if you haven't watched, and thanks again, Triggered Happy, for putting me back on this. I did watch part of it. If you haven't watched The Cosmic Secret, please do. I posted it in my Raven Red Pill and also on Raven Moonstone Art and Telegram. I can't share it anywhere else because that's the only place I can post it to right now. So if you haven't seen it, it's got the picture of David Wilcock on it. Now, I've seen a lot of the information in there, but it's put together beautifully. It's put together beautifully. So it's a good information sandwich of 2 hours. So if you haven't seen it, it's available in there, and it's really hard to find. So if you want to buy it or rent it off YouTuber, you can too. So that's something worthwhile watching. And yeah, see, Capria watched it. Yes, it's awesome. Yeah, my internet is crappy today too, and you tried to end DuckDuckGo, but it says it's down. Oh, I know. Everything is causing me problems right now. Everything. So bear with me. I did start a Signal channel. It's Raven Moonstone Art. I will not be giving my phone number out for the Signal. So somebody had created a couple of groups. Oops, on phone. Couple of groups to until I could figure out how to work Signal. And what's that group called? Okay, it's called Red Pill Mandy. Thank you, Mandy, from Raven's group. And there's a bigger one called Are You Awake? And so if you go look that up, I think that one's got quite a few people in it, and they're sharing a lot of information in there. So try and find groups that are still sharing information. 50% of our neighborhood is on house arrest in Ontario. Isn't that the truth? So A Perfect Day by Jennifer Mack is a movie with 107. I think I've seen that. Yeah, I'm allergic to cigarette smoke too. I don't know where that came from, but I'm gonna read you a card, and then I'm gonna go clean my rest of my place. They still haven't made my bed. I was still happy. When do you think? Who do you think this ghost Ezra is? You got to watch Above Majestic. I think I have watched that. I'm not very good with names of movies. I'm really shitty. Red Pill 78 had one on, was good. Oh, excuse me. That's what happens when you have a dry apartment. And yeah, he's on Parlor dropping major info. Good morning, Holly. I miss you. We have to get together soon. I love you. So I'm doing a card reading. So yes, let's place ourselves in our highest of light and love. And let's see what we have. And if you want to buy these cards, oops, here, there's one right there. David Avocado has this deck on his Telegram site, and it's $25. So there you go. Good morning, Ricky. 107 PM. I want to hook up you with glasses, lady. Hey, this is my dollar store. Look, I got new glasses. And yes, I found my prescription yesterday, Wendy, when I was. Can you email me, Wendy, at ravenmoonstoneart@outlook.com? And then we can chat about glasses. And everybody who's emailed me about art stuff, the lady who emailed me about these pictures here, yeah, I've got to go weigh them tomorrow. And I've got to go weigh that owl portrait and figure out what the shipping cost is. So, yeah, I'm glad this pedo problem is massive. I'm pretty sure that's, thank you, Wendy. I'm pretty sure that's what's going on. Oh, I know, Pam. I'm going to be watching Rice Crypto. He made me so cheesed off. He was trying to make me jealous, I think. For you, Rice. I'm just teasing. You know I like you. He's a good human and hilarious. He sent me a picture of him and Vincent Fusca. And I'm like, I told him, I'm like, I'm so jelly. I'm so glad he went and did that, though. It's like awesome. So hopefully I can do a show with him this coming up week. And yeah, everything keeps lagging right now. I'm not surprised if this gets dumped. So look for Raven Moonstone Art. Raven Moonstone Art on different platforms. Okay, and I'll find a way to do that. Oh, we've never had this card before. I love it. Okay, I love it when I don't know the cards. It's called the Novice, and it's card number 5. Innocence, beginner, ignorance, new skill without practice, unstable curiosity. So I love it. Innocence, naivety, foolishness, early knowledge not yet integrated, the ability to see the world untainted, and learning abilities. These are aspects of the novice as she appears in your life. The novice is reminding you to be teachable and humble. If I don't know something, don't pretend that I do. Oh, I don't ever pretend that I do. I'm like, I don't know. I'll have to look into that. Chances are you'll make an error that may cost you more than you wish to pay. What's my Telegram? It's t.me/Raven Moonstone Art. New information is coming, and this is the time to be open and learning and expanding. The novice reminds you to be like a child and remember the wonder and awe you once had for the world around you. When discovering magic, an essential part of everyday experience, the novice reminds you that you need to stop and ask yourself, what lesson must I learn here? The lesson is always mirrored in the experience in front of you. Dig deep in the workings of whatever situation you're inquiring about. You don't have to look far, for the answer is right in front of you. Sometimes it may feel as if you have two left feet and don't know how to dance, or that perhaps you're fumbling in the dark and fear that you may be left behind. It's all right to be in the not knowing. This is the place where new understanding takes time to integrate. Be gentle with yourself. This is the best card for today. Woo! We are learning how to integrate into our new light body forms, and it does feel uncomfortable. And it is a sense of innocence on a new light, in a new light system that we're moving forward to. So be gentle with yourself. The greatest gift the novice reminds you of is that you're always at the beginning of some area of your life. Patience and slow movement is required when the novice appears. Before moving forward, perhaps you need time to journal your thoughts and receive clarification about what mystery invites you to learn. Then rejoice. The novice of Avalon is on a path of higher knowledge and abundance manifestation and doesn't stay a novice for long. Boom. I love that card. That's fabulous. And yeah, GAB is down because they're hooking up new servers. And did you type it so I don't have to remind? Did someone get that? What? Uh, uh, who was that info false? No, that info was not false, Rachel, to answer your question about JGH. His job was to expose the queen as a fraud. That was his job. I'm not sure about the legitimacy of paperwork and stuff with all of that other stuff, but what he taught me personally on May 31st when I interviewed him was probably the most I could have learned about how the game of life was played, legit. And what I learned from him was, first of all, he has a photographic memory, so he can look at documents and remember them. And I won't say that I'm like that. I remember more of the experience I have either when I read it, and then if I've written it down, it kind of locks it in there, and then it becomes more of a photographic memory. But I have experiences, so I get how he can absorb information and relay it. So, to my knowledge, his role in this game, as I think he understands both sides of the game, and his job was to show us that the Queen was Winston Churchill's daughter and of a maid, and that Lady Di, her children were not legit heirs. William is from Juan Carlos of Spain, and I can actually remember reading that with my own eyes, photographically, when I recall it now. Those documents that he had of the bloodlines, I remember it very, very clearly. So from the parts that I keep uh, deemed as important. So, and then William, we all know, was from what's his name, the Hewitt. I always forget his first name. Anyways, so what he did was, I don't know if he did it for other people. I'm just commenting for my opinion personally. Was he let me know about the timeline and how the timeline and all wars were created, basically. Well, he wasn't, but he confirmed a lot of that. He also confirmed the fact that reincarnation is a thing. So I learned a lot about, even though I've heard it before, he's one person that I guess it resonated in my vibration of everything that I've felt my entire life. So then after May 31st, and I had that really in-depth conversation, I had a pivotal dream in, and I woke up and I told two of my very close friends about that dream and what it represented, and he was in the dream. And then something happened that following weekend on June 7th, and then something happened the following weekend after that, whatever the weekends were around that. Something interesting happened in the dynamics. And I'll just leave it at that. And I just felt like, well, I've learned what I needed to learn. And I like the man. I think he believes in world peace and DESARA for the entire world, and equality and fairness. And I think the thing that I connected to him in interviewing is that he wore $2 pants and I wore $3.75 dresses. Like, it was funny. So I never, the very first thing I ever said to that guy, I swear you can ask him himself. He reached out to me. I did not reach out to him. And he had called me a few times, not knowing where I was on the planet in the middle of the night. And the very first time he called me, I was like, I had my phone in the washroom and he was video calling me. So I'm like, whoa, running out the bathroom. So basically, I put on my robe and was making coffee when I talked to him for the very first time. I'm like, who the hell do you think you are? Like the king or something, phoning me before I had a coffee and a joint first thing in the morning? Like, like, honestly, we're all humans, I thought. We're all equal. So I've always had that kind of mentality that nobody's better than anyone else. So he kind of was that for me during that time, and then helped educate me on a whole bunch of things in me. So it was kind of interesting. And yeah, I look at everybody that I meet as a lesson, and whether they're good, bad, or indifferent. So that's where I'm going to leave that. I hope that answers your questions about it. And yes, yeah, I'm all about the peace, light, laughter. And we all have to be accountable for what we say and we do. And I mean, it's funny because after I figured out what the storyline behind JGH was, and I was more excited that the Queen was a fraud than anything. I was like, seriously, ding dong, which is I was happy about that because that's what I thought my whole entire life, is what a gong show it was that these people had more power over us or whatever. So, do you think he should be in what appears to be his rightful place? I don't think we're going to have rulers like we did before. That's not what collective consciousness is. Collective consciousness, and I've said this for the last, and I don't mean to say I told you so. That's not what I mean to say. But my understanding of what ascension is and what we're going through is a shift in consciousness. Okay. So if we're all shifting our consciousness into a collective consciousness to become the tree of life, where these codes are being integrated and our junk DNA is now being reprogrammed and rehooked up, those negative vibrations of someone being better than us or are gone. They're just gone. So the whole thing with someone putting a crown on their head is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant in my scope. We need people to come forward to help shape new, I don't want to even call it governments, but new leaders to help us get through a transition period where we do realize that we have this equality and this power of balance, and we're all hooked up with our heart vibrations. So that's where I'm gonna, and yeah, we're gonna see a lot of that as a courtesy. So, well, I think what we're gonna see too is everything, like all of the palaces around the world are going to be turned into a museum of some description, because we need to learn from our mistakes. Otherwise, you make them again. So that's what's been going on historically, is that we've had our lives monopolized by silent weapons for quiet wars, which JGH did teach me about. And that's basically like the handbook of how to control everybody. So, and that's being played out right now, whether you think so or not. It goes back like a long time ago. And so that's where we're headed, is that we're all waking up to uh, what we've been told is a scam, and now how it is listen to who what is working behind the scenes. Well, perhaps, like, I do believe, like I said on Thursday, there are people, like I was talking about the Viking dude, okay? And I said he very may well have infiltrated the dark side and then come over to the light side to do that particular mission. And there are a lot of people who have been, I believe, work for the dark side just to get information so they can assist the light side. So they may look like bags of shit at one particular point in their life, but are they really like that? You have to think about James Bond movies and Double Agent and the Spy Game and like Manchurian Candidate and all of these movies. They're telling you that there is an ability to control and manipulate people through the government. So, and all of these operatives. So there's a lot of people that are now coming up to, uh, I guess, help us relearn what didn't. And JGH, I do think, especially when I talked to him on May 31st, he mentioned like the Rosicrucians, and they were the original creators of brotherly love and relief for the poor, and information should be traded freely. Those are the three founding principles of that organization. So that's what I think he was representing there. So I don't necessarily think that he's a bad person, but I just don't know about all of like why one person right now in the big scheme of life. Like, how do I know I'm not of some royalty? Like, we don't know that. Maybe my DNA was sought after. Maybe that's why they took a third of my large intestine in Cuba or in Canada here, so that they could like clone me. Who knows? You know, you just don't know like of what game has gone on between the dark and the light. So and at what level, and who's at what level when they're starting, and what downloads they get of information and that sort of thing. But we, yes, that's right. We are the people. So we are all one. And that's pretty much what I'm getting at, is that the vibes of negativity and one having dominion over another are going to be falling by the wayside, because everybody's heart vibration votes the same, just like in a flock of starlings or the deer in the field, like in the movie I Am by Tom Shadyac. When that 51st percent of deer turns its head to the watering hole, that's where the way they all go, and that's the way we're going to go. So if 51% of us believe that something should never happen again, it won't happen again. So if 51% of us on the earth don't want murder, guess what? It ain't there. And I can tell you that what we're going through in the next 3 months will probably be the saddest, most horrific, most challenging times for humanity to get over. But it is necessary. It is necessary, because if we don't march through this darkness with our torches lit so bright and so strong that things are better on, if we do that, we'll be able to aid humanity faster. And that is in meditations every day. Global meditations every day totally help. fix this problem. You don't believe in the power of, you cannot understand how big that power is your ability to change this situation in this timeline is so important, because if we all band together and do our global meditation every day, where we're bringing people into a happier time frame and to a more positive light and love, then we are affecting change, like seriously global. So we need to pray, do the global meditation, whatever that looks like for you. Even if you're walking outside and you say, I don't know how to meditate, I'm not great with meditating either. So what I do is I go for a walk, and if I hear something that I don't like yesterday, really funny story, right outside by my park entrance here, a block and a half down from my house, is an archway right by the Peace Bridge. There's an archway. Okay. Three guys standing there, social distancing, all got their masks pulled down under here. And they're all talking about what an idiot POTUS is. And how could he be doing all of this? Oh, if the Republicans had 40%, da 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 da. And I was like, oh, Lord, help me, please. Like, I literally was just trying to there's the only place around there with sun, which I found ironic. I'm like, well, no wonder they put the archway here, because it's the only place that actually catches sun in the morning. How interesting, at certain times of the year. So I was trying to sit there on a bench and ignore them, and they're probably about 50 feet away. It wasn't like they were being quiet at all. And I was just sitting there and I was like, please make these people go away. Like, I don't need to hear this in my matrix. Just make it go away. And I literally stood up and I'm like, well, maybe I should leave the area. Oh, it's 111 viewers. And so I just got up to start leaving. But just as I did, the three guys scattered, as if I made them leave. I made them go along their merry little way. They're having the most ridiculous conversation, seriously. I was like, please don't let me hear this conversation anymore. Let me tune this out. I just want to see the sun. But you have that control over co-creating that reality. We totally have that control right now. And I know that even Triggered Happy and I will catch times and numbers and things like that constantly. That's about us raising together in that collective consciousness and resonance. So, oh, thank you, Kiwi Boy. I appreciate it. So, yeah, I'm in my where are the global meditations every day. I set mine at 11:11 every day, and I do at least 1 minute of gratitude if I'm on live. And then while I'm doing walks, you have to plan those global meditations. It doesn't matter what time you do them, but to do them at about 20 minutes, I always do them around 11:11 or 1:11 or some magical time for me. And I'll start, even if before I have a nap in the afternoon, I'll set my intentions. So if I do fall asleep during my meditations of just putting 432 frequency on, if a negative thought comes into my mind, I'm like, why am I thinking about this? It's not my matrix. Send it away with light and love. Surrender it to love. If all you have to say is everything that negative comes to you, I surrender it to love. I surrender you to love. When you're walking, heal the world, heal the world, heal the world. I love you. I love you, Raven. Whatever that is, to change your vibration of that tape playing. So you're giving yourself love, and that then it expands outward. It really does expand outward. So it is about teaching us. Maybe that's what the novice is all about, is teaching ourselves how to connect, connect. So if I really want to meditate, I take myself to my favorite place I've traveled. And I would try and think about, what did it smell like there? What was the temperature like there? Were there lots of butterflies that day? Where did I walk? Who did I go there with? What did we talk about? Did I understand the language that day? Just put yourself back into a moment where you were happy or you had that experience, even if it was like, say, from a birthday party from when you were 5 and you're best friend came over and you ate cake. So it's about taking yourself from a negative spot to a positive spot. That's how the changing of your consciousness works. And it's about having control over that. People say, oh, I have no control. You do. You are talking to somebody for the last 3 years was in such a fucked up, depressing, dark way. In last January, a year ago, I wouldn't say I was suicidal. I wanted to disappear. I wanted to disappear. I wanted a ship to come and pick me up and take me off this planet. It was so fucked up. I'd watch well, I didn't watch her die, but she died. My best friend died. And then a few weeks later, someone committed suicide in front of me. I was not in a very good place. But after going to counseling, and if you need to go to counseling, do phone the crisis lines, whatever, if you have to get through that. But most of us are at a point right now where we don't need that outside, I guess, psychiatric evaluation, because we all know that our reality was what was depressing. So for me personally, it's about taking all of the bad stuff now that I've been learning and turning into jokes and turning into something happy or fun or exciting, and I know that sounds unrealistic, but I've really surrounded all of the darkness in my life in love and light. And how I've done that is something negative comes up where I'm kind of like, I say something, I'm like, oh, that person was such an asshole to me when I was growing up. I'm like, but I'm going to send them love and light now and surround them in beauty and peace and harmony. And that's our job as light workers. It really is our job as light workers to be the conscious change, be the change you want to see. So that's where it's more prevalent now than ever. These next 2 weeks of knowing that things are getting sorted out and that there is going to be a new administration. It won't include the old turd VP who is like out there trying to do the CEO UP. I don't think there's an E on the end, but how to do that. So it is very much about sharing what we know now and making that transition for our friends and family to be something gentle and loving and empathetic, because shit's about to go sideways in a very negative way. But I think we're all practicing the art of surrounding that negativity as best as we can. So there's going to be moments where we cry, but I find it more hard to cry in sadness. I'm always crying more joy and happiness right now. So I think we're about on this verge of flipping it all over. So no, it's not all a psyop. So yes, insurance scam. You're right. So yes, here comes the sun. Retracted. There's a lot of stuff that's being retracted. I'm not sure. So happy cries for me too. So I really want to appreciate and thank everybody for tuning in and being in my vibe. I do. I'm so entirely grateful to each person that has come into my life. I am so grateful. So thank you to everybody. And by the way, the CORONA, it's all about the crown here and them trying to steal this. So that's what it is. So we're getting rid of all of that stuff. So I love you guys all. Thank you for happiness does grow when it's shared. That's why I like doing my new Real Raven Radio because I want to keep things really funny. So I don't even know. I had Fifth Element Goddess planned to do a show tomorrow, but she's on a blackout. So I don't know. I'm just going to wing it. Tomorrow might even be charts. So, yes. So I think we're all headed to a whole new world, a new way of looking at everything. And that's, like I said, we're all going to be beginners at this. Nobody knows everything. I don't know everything. I'm like, I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out this shit Oh, I will. I'm gonna be smoking a nice one. I'm gonna go roll another one. I got the cheapest bag of weed. I want to give YSS on Fourth Avenue in Calgary a shout out because I talk about them often and they're hilarious. But I don't know if I told you this story. I got ID'd at my weed store uh, last week or the week before, and I was like, "There's a new guy working there." I was like, "What?" I go, I had to walk home to get my ID, dude. I'm old. My kid's can I give you his name and you can look up his ID? I gave birth to that Sasquatch. And I was like trying to, keep it happy. And he's like, oh, no, no, it's just because everybody's wearing these. And he goes, you look like you're under 25. And I'm like, oh, that was a couple weeks ago. And I do know I mentioned how I got ID'd on at YSS, and I thought that was pretty funny. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, I went to go buy a bag of weed. And when you go there, they put you, I don't like going in the system, but of course I want my credit. So they give you one stamp every time you go there. And on Sundays, it's double stamp day. So you get two stamps. For every five stamps, you get 5% off. So I had 20% off yesterday when I went to the store. And he goes, just because I like you, I'm going to give you 25% off. So my bag of weed was actually cheaper than the shit I bought on like December 20th. Do you want me to make you sad? 28 grams of weed cost me $91. It was awesome. And his blue dream is beautiful. Oh, yay. So I'm going to go do that and get all ready because I'm going to read The Sapling in a little while. I still haven't asked Jessica for permission. I don't think it'll be a problem. I really want Jessica is one of my good friends, but she's a very, very busy human being. She runs a big farm. I think there's 150 cattle on her farm, plus some sheep and ducks and chickens and dogs and you name it. So, um, oh, that's a good. Oz is about $100 in Colorado. That's pretty good. So I just paid 140. Yeah, they're around 150 if you want a really good bag of weed here in the city. So, yes. But anyhow, I'm gonna do that, and then I might finish a painting that I started on New Year's Eve, or just do a painting. I'm not sure. So, but I will keep the sapling separate, and there will not be comments on it while I read that, and that's because I'm starting uh, a kids portion of my program, and it will be for the kids are being homeschooled, and it's the Sapling Creativity Program. That's what we'll be calling that. So hopefully, we get everybody and in a happy little place so that we can share our knowledge. And that's what it's all about for me, sharing knowledge. So thank you to everyone who wants to financially support me. I'm just not sure what that's looking like these days, and I apologize. And I'll try and figure out my uh, shipping for my paintings and stuff. And if you're interested in any other artwork, please email me again at ravenmoonstone at outlook.com. And yes, there's going to be some happy, happy, happy stuff coming our way. I really do believe in light and love. So thanks for the chat, the Sunday morning chit chat. And I really care about all of you. You think I don't, but I do. So thank you all. I'm sending you the happiest of blessings today to stay in your highest of self. And please go outside, connect with nature. Even if you hug a tree for 20 minutes and make out with it, that's probably going to do you more good than freaking out about how to meditate. Seriously, don't be hard on yourself. Just be you. And that's what how to stay in your happiest of vibe. I'm super happy right now. So I'm kissing you right here in my messy hairdo. Holy, my hair is some sort of messy do, but I love you guys all. So from my heart space to yours, have a fabulous day. Light and love to you all. Love you so much.